Hello, and welcome to Developmental Talent. Your ear holes are about to be crammed full of the most action-packed wrestling podcast on the entire fucking planet. And it's exclusively on freaksugar.com. Now, here are your hosts, hailing from parts unknown, Brandon Van Hook and Lemon Juice McGee.
Welcome to the latest episode of Developmental Talent. Lemon Juice McGee here. Sadly, Brandon Van Hook is not. He's in the middle of a Total Divas marathon. You really can't interrupt that shit. However, with me tonight in his place is the fighting man, Matt Pierce.
Hey guys, I can fire a tornado and drive a sea.
And that makes no sense. And also, Hoagie Masters.
Hogamania is here running wild, folks.
God, they're full of craziness. We've basically been drinking Mountain Dew and eating donuts this whole time while we watched Raw. And just finished up picking up the new copy of 2K15 for the PS4. Once I get good at it, I'll give away my gamer tag. Last week's show had a great interview. We've picked up a lot of new listeners, and hopefully you're listening for this week. We're going to kick things off with Keeping It Raw.
Keeping it raw.
Did you miss it? Did you miss Keeping It Raw last week? We heard that a couple of you missed it, and we're sorry. But the interview with Trash Can Graham was pretty good, right? Plus, last week's Raw kind of sucked some dick. Basically, it could be combined with this week's Raw to be one big Raw, and it still wouldn't be that good of a Raw. And that's me saying Raw a shitload of times. Last week, they just set up more of the Survivor Series storyline, building some of the teams. Mostly it was the Authority team being set up. Rusev joined. Mark Henry joined. Ryback sort of joined and then sort of didn't join and then really didn't join when he started fighting everyone. This week was more of that. Kick things off with the Authority coming out. Full team Authority with their latest acquisition that they announced, which is Harper, Luke Harper. Sounds odd, but it gets odder. They come out, run their mouth about superstars siding with Cena, how it's going to go bad for them. Then make a match for Dolph Ziggler versus Harper. Turns out it's for the Intercontinental title.
Which, that right there, I was thinking, okay, Ziggler's going to find a way to either pull the match off, maybe like a small package, or they're just going to come out and beat him down and get disqualified. But surprisingly, Luke Harper won the match and is now the Intercontinental Champion.
Who would have thought? I thought that there definitely was gold in Harper's future, but I figured it'd be tag gold with Rowan. I didn't think at all he'd be the first Wyatt to get gold, you know?
And really the first match, since they've been doing those crazy promos and putting him on his own from the Wyatt family, he wins the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big shock. And, I mean, this match started out, the Stooges pretty much now, Mercury and Noble, came in and beat up Ziggler for a minute, and then the match began. And Harper, I remember he delivered a sit-down powerbomb, and then another big move, and Ziggler kept kicking out. But at the end of it all, Harper wins and is now your IC champion.
Which goes to show you guys, if you're a Dolph Ziggler fan, just embrace the fact that he's never going to hold a belt for very long at all. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Post-match, Ziggler ate a curb stomp.
Yeah.
And then, more general talk from announcers about the Authority and how Cena, if you join him, it's bad, and blah, blah, blah. And they're basically a shitload of that all night. Like, all night was, the whole point of the show was there was going to be a contract signing at the end of the show with both teams signing their Survivor Series match. The whole thing was the Authority was going to destroy every Cena team member or offer them goodies to try to sway them to not be out there at the end of the night. One of the big things, Stephanie offered Big Show a spot in the 2015 Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprising thing that I can recall. There's only been one other time that I can remember that a match or anything like that result in someone maybe being in the Hall of Fame. And that was when Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole were feuding. And if Michael Cole won a match, Jerry Lawler would have to put him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Like he would have to induct him if he ever got inducted.
No. He would the following year, Michael Cole would be inducted into the Hall of Fame by Jerry Lawler.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, Big Show goes in the Hall of Fame. That's one step closer to getting his house back from Stephanie, man.
Yeah. But, like, it started out, Stephanie came out there talking about Big Show's debut at Halloween Havoc 95. First thing that popped in my head, they found the Yeti. And he's going to fight the Yeti, and the Yeti's going to beat him down.
If you guys don't remember the Yeti, good.
The Big Show seemed like he was going to consider it, which is it's just such an insane thing. Like, here we're going to put you in our hall of our finest wrestlers for not joining Team Cena. It's just the stupidest shit, really. But Sheamus came out because he's always the voice of reason and tried to talk Big Show out of it. She then made a match between Big Show and Sheamus. The deal was to get them to fight each other and really hurt each other, that the winner got a future title shot for the world title, for Brock's title. Yet she doesn't say, like, your number one contender, when you're ever going to have this match. She's just like, yeah, you'll have a match sometime in the future. And they're like, okay, fuck it, let's fight each other to death. And I don't know. It was a back and forth, usual stuff. But the big deal was towards the end, Mark Henry and Rusev coming out and beating asses.
Yeah, come out and Rusev delivered a big kick to Sheamus, knocked him out of the ring, and then he put the accolade on Big Show, pretty much making Big Show pass out. And then Mark Henry was outside, delivered the World's Strongest Slam to Sheamus through the announce table.
Because that's what he do.
It is. It says it on his shirt, and that same shirt he took off and laid it on Sheamus's prone body. Then a couple minutes later picked it back up because he's just not giving that merch away to anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quality shirt.
Nobody gets a free shirt. Nobody. Except for Big Show the last time he did it on the steps.
Another good match of the night between two big guys was Cesaro and Ryback.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good match. Back and forth.
It was surprisingly even.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a way to keep Ryback, because the comparison's always going to be there between Ryback and Goldberg. But Goldberg never had competitive back and forth matches. Ryback, if he can show that he can actually go a little bit, maybe people won't start that chant again, you know?
They were still chanting Goldberg.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
all night.
They're always going to,
yeah.
as long as he has that gimmick, they're probably always going to chant Goldberg in some way, form, or fashion.
I mean, the way they brought him back, it seems like he's been doing a little bit more squash stuff again, like he did when he originally debuted as Ryback. But this Cesaro thing was not that.
No, like at first I thought, oh my gosh,
Cesaro. I thought Cesaro was going to beat him there.
Oh yeah,
at point, yeah.
There was a spot like literally Cesaro got him up and did the elbow he does in midair, which surprised me.
Yeah. Plus the power bomb from was it top rope?
Yes.
Top rope power bomb from Cesaro onto Ryback.
Yeah.
And then Ryback gave it back to him later.
Yep.
Same thing. Match went really well though. I don't know. Most of it, it was just that. I mean, there were okay matches.
Yeah.
The commentary team was fucking horrible tonight. And it didn't help that a lot of the show was taken up by special guest host Grumpy Cat.
Yeah, it was just
It's not even timely. I don't understand.
You guys remember when Raw didn't have guest hosts? Remember that?
Yeah,
cool.
when it was just Monday Night Raw and there was wrestling and things happened. Yes.
Yeah. Think about that, Vince.
And it was mostly Miz. I guess he was the guy they figured was the safest around the cat. Like, they're both a couple of pussies. We'll just put them together. But and
Cat
then
was asleep.
Plenty of previews for next week's guest host. Speaking of guest hosts,
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Talk about Tomlin.
Because
I hate him.
who wants to see wrestling not look like silly redneck goofiness?
Oh yeah.
Let's just put Larry the Cable Guy in there. They'll love that.
I mean, I can understand somebody like maybe a person from the actual sports world, like maybe Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yeah.
That was understandable. Shaq, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, Shaq.
Yeah.
He was a good one. Trying to think. I mean, honestly, if they're going to do a guest host, why not get, like, legends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Mick
Somebody-
Foley.
Yeah. Then they could pump Legends House.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's free
Pump
this
the-
month.
Or, like, pump the network. Watch these guys' old matches on the network.
Yeah. I don't know. It's odd. But, I mean, the thing is, Larry the Cable Guy, he could... Talking for this for a minute. Sorry to cut the raw talk here for a second, guys. But Larry the Cable Guy, he could be like this huge fucking wrestling fan. But there are huge wrestling fans.
Mm.
Like Stephen Amell, who is he's Green Arrow on Arrow.
Yeah.
Likes Raw. Likes wrestling. WWE doesn't ask. Makes no sense. They could probably get him to wrestle.
Yeah.
He would be like Hugh Jackman. He would do something active in the ring.
Well, it's because, again, Vince, if it happened 10 years ago, Vince knows all about it on TV. I mean, I guess he's got a lot of catching up doing his DVR. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, from bad to weird, there was a Divas match
Yes.
that I'm not even that drunk, but I was genuinely confused when AJ Lee's music hit and what appeared to be AJ Lee came out. Yeah, she had the wrong face.
Yeah, like at first I see hear the AJ music come out. I'm like, hey, it's AJ. I looked, no belt. I thought, what's the deal? And then she started coming down the ramp, and I got to looking at her face.
And it's Brie J. Bella.
Yeah.
Who is a surprise? She is a good actress.
Yeah.
Because, well, we'll get into some more. Then her sister Nikki comes out. I guess they're going to have a match where they're going to do some type of play acting. I don't know.
They said it was an exhibition.
An exhibition of, I don't know, magic, perhaps. AJ Lee comes out to do commentary. So AJ Lee is watching her doppelganger in the ring fighting Nikki Bella. Brie had all of AJ's mannerisms right when it comes to getting her ass kicked. She got her ass kicked just like AJ.
Well, I mean, AJ gets her ass kicked in a unique way. So
She does.
Yeah.
The way she shook her head, everything was like dead-on mannerisms. The problem is you didn't get to see if she could do a lot of AJ's offense because Nikki... Basically, she was there for Nikki just to do all her moves.
Yeah, anytime Brie would try to do a move on Nikki, Nikki would yell at her or shove her down or something.
Oh, yeah, because Nikki still owns Brie until the end of the month, I think.
Yeah.
Or Survivor
At least till
Series.
Survivor Series.
Yeah.
She's has to be her personal assistant thanks to the match at Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Which, man, it seems like it's been way longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good match. She had one really good match in the sea of, like, mediocrity that's gone on between the two Bellas for the last 800 years, I guess. I don't know.
But, surprisingly enough, it was an actual match. Brie Bella surprisingly won it.
Yeah.
With a roll-up, thanks to...
There was a distraction by AJ. She got on the apron and distracted Nikki and got the roll. Brie got the roll up, and then Nikki tried to beat down Brie at the end of the match. AJ put a stop to it, and Brie got in on it a little bit also. And then Brie started doing the yes chant, and then AJ attacked her.
Because AJ's crazy, let's not forget. So AJ caused herself to win a match against her opponent at Survivor Series, and then stopped herself from getting beaten up by said opponent, and then beat her own self up. That's what happened.
Basically.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to everyone. It didn't quite make sense to us, and we were watching it.
Yeah.
Which hopefully you watched it too, because surely you're not going into this podcast blind. But we don't describe things that well.
No.
But, I mean, stuff happened. Basically, Luke Harper won the Intercontinental Belt. That was like the big fucking deal for them.
Oh, yeah.
But, kick things off for the main event, which was a contract signing, because that's what people want to see in a main event, is people signing paper.
I know I do.
The Authority comes out in full force, the entire squad for Survivor Series. They get on the mic, run their mouths a little bit. John Cena's music hits, so he can come out with his team. He comes out solo. Stands around for a bit. Nobody comes out. Runs down to the ring on his own. Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he comes out there and first he seems all down, then he gets motivated, like Cena always does, and said that regardless, he's going to win. The Authority will lose. And he said he will find his 4 members of his team. Then he literally went out to the crowd to try to find 4 members for his team.
Yeah, Team Cena is a nun, a guy in a captain's hat, and 2 kids.
Yes, and we're talking small children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's illegal to hit them.
That's a strategy, man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I guess. But after a little bit, Cena was on the mic for a while. He proceeded to say y'all way more often than I ever have, and I'm from the South. But finally, Ziggler's music hits,
Yes.
and Ziggler stumbles down the ramp to come to his aid. They make notification that Sheamus has been taken to the hospital due to his injuries from the World's Strongest Slam through the announce table by Big Show earlier, or Mark Henry earlier in the night. So then the question is who else is going to come out and help him?
Yeah, and then music hits, and we're like, who in the world is this?
Well, first
and,
Big Show came out.
Yeah, Big Ezra. I forgot
Big
about
Show.
Big Show.
Big Show.
Big Show
But-
lumbered down to the ring.
Yeah.
Music hits, and we're like, who is this? And it's Eric Rowan.
That's right.
That was surprising.
Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan, who for the last 2 weeks has tried to touch Renee Young's hair, and tonight insisted that he take a plush cat, has decided to join Team Cena.
Well, he figured that Team Cena is now in a ginger deficit, so he's replacing that. That's what happened.
That is a good point.
Yes.
That is a good point. I hadn't even thought about the hair color thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Cesaro comes out, and you're like, oh, hey, Cesaro. It's like John Cena picked his character and hit the random button 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, but the crowd, super fucking excited.
Oh, yeah. And then Cesaro kind of swerves him. He goes over to Authority, and they're pointing and laughing at Cena and everything. And
But he didn't join the Authority. It was just a joke of
Yeah,
John
it was
Cena.
a
Yeah,
prank.
it was a joke just to show that he would never join John Cena.
And then John Cena made sad face.
Yep. So, and as far as the Eric Rowan thing, the only indication of any reason as why he's on this team is that he points at Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Like he's mad at Luke Harper for I don't know what.
just joining the evil Authority.
Because
Because they were the evil Wyatt.
as the Wyatts, they were pretty much crushing house too all over the place. Like I don't understand.
Well, maybe what it is the Wyatts were against the machine.
That
And maybe he
is
sees it that Harper joined the machine.
Possibly.
Possibly,
I could see
yeah.
that.
Of course, also with Rowan too, I feel like he's just not doing the creepy thing very well. I feel like he's gonna be more like the misunderstood gentle giant,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like when Kane was with Lita Kane, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But anyway, so the Authority's laughing their ass off at Cena for having one less person, which really is like in that situation. I mean, it's only one less person. Hell, Cena's probably beat every one of those people in a night on his own anyway.
Yeah.
But music hits, and out comes Ryback, who has flip-flopped and flipped and flopped back to Team Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he come out, and then a big brawl ensued
Mm-hmm.
between them all. And towards the end, we see Ryback and Triple H have a stare down.
Yeah.
It's like something's going to happen here, but it ended up just Cena doing the attitude adjustment on Triple H to a table.
Yeah, it's basically a distraction. So, through the table that the contracts were on, it went off the air. No contracts were signed, so we're assuming Survivor Series has been canceled.
Yeah.
So we're sorry to be the ones to break this news, but there was no contract signed by the parties, and we all know that you can't have a wrestling event unless you signed your contracts.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
So-
I remember Mr. America, and he signed that contract
Well,
in Vince McMahon's blood. No, Vince signed it in his blood. So
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's really, I mean, I guess Sunday night we'll have nothing to watch.
Total Divas.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's what we'll watch.
Survivor Series is this coming Sunday, which basically was what the whole go home show thing was led to. I mean, there'll be a SmackDown show, but I mean, really, who of us watches SmackDown? We just, if something happens on it, we're going to see it on Raw. Nobody has time to watch TV on a Friday. When it moves to Thursdays, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any quick predictions for Survivor Series?
I think Orton will be involved some way or another. I feel like what will happen is it'll come down to probably Cena and Rollins. Mm-hmm. And Rollins will have the upper hand, and Orton will cost him that match.
I was surprised Orton wasn't that fifth guy. I was thinking maybe they would just hold off on the fifth guy, and then they would show it off at Survivor Series. You know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if Survivor Series had been paid, that's something that would have happened.
Yeah, I agree with what Matt said, though. Believe that's what it'll come down to, Cena and Rollins, and then Orton will come out, probably RKO Rollins to help Cena win, because they're going to be in Orton's hometown, St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, but a lot of times that backfires.
That's true.
You know, but plus if he's filming a movie and he's coming back for that, it really wouldn't matter regardless. But I mean, I guess maybe this a quick vacation to see his family and then also be on Raw.
It's WWE movie, so it's not like they couldn't give him the weekend off to go do it. You know? I will say, though, Triple H being involved in the brawl makes me really upset that he's not on Team Authority.
Well, this is my thought. My thought is all this stuff's building up. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute, what we think would happen if, various teams win. My thought is it'll be down to Cena and Rollins. Or Ryback and Rollins.
Maybe.
Triple H gives a pedigree. Team Authority wins. Rollins has this track record of fucking winning everything regardless.
That's true.
That's true.
And then that would set up Triple H against somebody possibly at like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since H has done anything, and if he is going to wrestle, I mean, even there's possibility he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania, he's going to have something beforehand.
Yeah, you think you have a warm-up match. Yeah. I don't know.
But let's say this, okay? Let's say Cena's squad wins.
Yeah.
What happens Monday night?
Vince fires the Authority, I guess.
Yeah, fires them. Maybe a big surprise with that, or fires the Authority and then maybe make a new general manager or something like that. Or I highly doubt it where Vince is getting up there in the years, but Vince comes back as the authority figure on TV.
But he's evil Vince. Maybe.
No, I think he's super face Vince right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is right now.
He's Teddy Long, basically. He's just not making tag matches.
He is right now, but he comes out and gets rid of the Authority, and then he has all the power.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean...
Because it seems like a lot of times when somebody big is getting fired, there's always an interruption.
Yeah.
I remember, believe... It was a little bit before WrestleMania 29. Vince was trying to fire Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. And Brock Lesnar came out and F5 Vince.
Or whenever Triple H was going to fire...
broke his hip.
Yeah. When Triple H was going to fire Laurinaitis. That interrupted. Yep. That was Brock Lesnar breaking his arm. Wasn't it? Wasn't it Kimura Lock? Was that what it was? Or was it just Brock? Was it somebody else?
I can't remember on that one.
I can't either exactly. But that was interrupted.
Yeah, there was an interruption. I can't remember who it was, though.
I just can't see them. I mean, they obviously aren't going to take Triple H and Stephanie off television. Unless Stephanie's got something going on. Like, I mean, I know the working day-to-day WWE, H is going to be around for the TV.
Yeah.
Stephanie might need to go do some other stuff. But, I mean, there's no place for them to... Of course, I mean, just taking them out of power doesn't mean... Cena talks it up like you guys are gone. And it's like, no, it just means they're not in charge.
Yeah.
But that might be a thing. They could go for a few months where they're having to like do shitty jobs around the arena.
Still popcorn.
like Stephanie's like having to mop up sweat from Mark Henry. Like, I don't know.
Stephanie doesn't know how to use a mop. I guarantee it.
Well, that makes for funny television.
Oh, there you go. Like when Shawn Michaels was the cook. When Triple H couldn't get him. Triple H was cooking.
Which... Going back to the Laurinaitis Triple H thing, I want to say it was The Undertaker. Because that was right before WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
I believe.
Our brains are fried, guys. That was a long time ago. But it did happen. Sort of.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened in the past of WWE, and we have no facts about it. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't. Technically, we could have just told you a ton of lies about Raw. So hopefully you just get the network, check for yourselves.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
Yeah, Survivor Series, I mean, but say the Authority wins. What happens Monday night?
If the Authority wins, I say Cena's going to get run to the shithole.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all those guys.
He is going to get destroyed. Probably numerous handicap matches or something. He's just going to get beat down.
Yeah. He'll fight the entire Authority.
Or they could do... They've done it before. Have Cena fight the entire locker room. There was one time it was Cena and Orton versus the whole locker room. And just have Cena fight everybody.
Yeah.
You know he'll win that, right?
Cena.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Cena. What can I say?
What are you going to do?
There's no stopping him. So that's it for keeping it raw, really. Sorry it's not more, like, jazzed up, overly enthusiastic. But, I mean, I don't know. Harper won the Intercontinental Belt, so that's kind of a thing. That
is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Harper is the breakout star of the Wyatts, besides Bray, which leaves Rowan kind of out there. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird that he's the first one to get singles gold.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think Bray would have been. I don't know.
Speaking of Bray, what about Bray and Ambrose?
I see that match right there will probably end up in a crazy brawl.
Now, we didn't talk about that earlier, but tonight on Raw, Bray came out to cut a promo on Ambrose. Ambrose turns it over on him and is on the Tron with a video. So he's talking it up about Bray, and then he's like, oh, and I've got a magic trip, pre-recorded video, and then busts out of the crowd, takes on Bray, beats Bray pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Bray scurries up the ramp and makes him look super weak. So it makes me think Bray goes over at SummerSlam. But
Bray needs to go over. He's not had a definitive win in a while. I mean,
I almost feel like the match has to have some type of crazy-ass finish.
Yeah, that's true. Either somebody's going through something, or maybe we're going to see new Wyatt family members.
The Ascension might come up.
That, or I highly doubt they'll do this, but maybe he keeps talking about a woman with Ambrose. Maybe they're actually going to introduce the Sister Abigail character.
Maybe. Maybe they'll do that crazy abduction thing that didn't go over real good with Brian.
Yeah, or, yeah.
Where he tries to convert him, and stuff. I don't know. Because they tried it with Brian, but they were pushing. It was just too much at the time. And Brian was way too fucking popular.
That whole Brian thing was just a weird time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's keeping it raw, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a Divas match, but...
Yeah, I see AJ winning. Bree's probably going to get involved, because if the... Bree being Nikki's servant is up that night, she's just going to turn on Nikki and cost her the match.
Which means months of more Bella on Bella matches upon matches upon matches. So with that sad note, let's go into the next segment.
This week in wrestling history.
This Week in Wrestling History is a segment where we cover the past of wrestling's history, all the stuff that's happened this week throughout time. Time forever. From the beginning of fucking time of wrestling, we talk about it if it happened this week. We're covering a lot of Survivor Series stuff, which works out well considering this Sunday. Tonight, our wrestling historian Hoagie Masters has a few things for us.
All right, folks, we're going to get started with Survivor Series 1990. One of the biggest debuts in the history of pretty much the industry.
John Gonzalez.
Close.
Close?
The Undertaker.
Oh, well,
debuted.
Yeah, Taker, that's a little bit bigger, I guess.
Yes.
The touch, yeah.
Which this person was one of my favorite Survivor Series growing up. Taker debuted as a mystery partner on the $1 Million Team, which they were going against the Dream Team, led by Dusty Rhodes. This was also the debut of a not-so-great thing, the Gobbledygooker.
Now, you may have gotten those backwards.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to you this time. The Undertaker's better than the Gobbledygooker, but I don't know.
I mean, Gobbledygooker didn't lose to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
That's
all I'm saying.
That's true. Technically, the Gobbledygooker is undefeated at WrestleMania.
That is
because he's
true.
never competed at WrestleMania.
That's very true.
Eat that, Undertaker.
All right, moving on. Next up is Survivor Series 1996. Another big debut occurred. The debut of The Rock, which at the time he went by Rocky Maivia.
That guy's nothing.
Yeah.
The Rock.
He debuted in a traditional Survivor Series team match. This was also the night where classic match occurred. First time ever, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, that match. That match was awesome.
That match is awesome. And also, this is the night that Psycho Sid won his first WWF title.
Psycho Sid.
Against the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
The master and ruler of the world.
That's right.
I loved him when I was little.
Oh, yes.
I didn't care about the nonsensical or the mess-ups on the interview. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
However, every time I think of him, it's just fucking leg breaking.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
That was gruesome.
I can't.
I actually watched some of his ECW times earlier today, and he was trying to be, this evil, mean guy, but he was smiling, playing to the crowd and everything also.
Oh, man. Sid's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, The Rock debuting at that Survivor Series, they had hyped him. It wasn't like he was just, this young guy debuted. They cut like a shitload of vignettes for him.
Yeah.
Which, the Rocky Maivia thing, the reason he picked that name was because his Rock went by Rocky Johnson, and his grandfather was the High Chief Peter Maivia.
Yeah.
So he combined the two together.
And he had the streamers because of, I don't know why.
Wind resistance. Wind resistance.
Oh, you think so?
It makes them faster.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're on handlebars of bicycles.
That's true.
Yeah. Moving on. This was not a debut of an actual superstar. This was a debut of a match.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Series 2002. The debut of the Elimination Chamber.
Oh.
First one ever, which in my view is the best one they've ever done.
Yeah. That's the Triple H Shawn Michaels one, right?
Yes, that was the one where Shawn Michaels won his first World Heavyweight title. He'd won the WWF title, but not the big gold belt.
Yeah, after he'd come back, right?
Yeah, that was after being gone for 4 years
Yeah.
due to a back injury.
Triple H had attacked him in like a parking lot or something.
Then they had the SummerSlam match, and then Triple H at the end of that match took a sledgehammer to his back, and they're like, "Oh no, Shawn's paralyzed," and he wasn't. He come back and
During that time, it was a lot of it. They would pump him a match, and it was like, this could be the last match he ever has, or he might not be able to have it. And he would come out there and walk and hold his back and all that, And I mean, he legitimately had problems.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, we're gonna do this every time. It's just gonna do it for like 2 years of us saying this is the only match he's gonna have.
I still remember him being in that wheelchair and like trying to get up, and Jerry be like, "Don't do it, man, don't do it." And all of a sudden he just stands up, starts dancing.
Jumps,
It was crazy, crazy times.
Moving on, this is the last one we're going to do. Survivor Series 2011 began the 434-day title reign of the best in the world, CM Punk.
The longest reign in the modern era.
Yes. Defeating Alberto Del Rio, which, as we all know, Alberto Del Rio had Ricardo Rodriguez as his special guest ring announcer. So, therefore, CM Punk thought he needed one. Therefore, finding Howard Finkel.
The Fink.
You
gotta love the Fink.
I mean, if you're going with the ring announcer,
you
gotta have.
You can't do better than that.
He came out, everybody's cheering for him. He cried. Yes. It took forever.
Yeah, that wasn't the main event of the night.
Of course it wasn't. I mean, Punk was never main event.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The main event was, they hyped it as never before, never again. Mm-hmm. It was The Rock and John Cena versus The Miz and R-Truth.
And to be fair, no one would ever want to see that again.
That's true.
Yes.
I don't know who really wanted to see that the first time.
I know I sure didn't.
How many never before in life matches have The Rock and John Cena been involved in?
Well, they
right?
They hyped WrestleMania 28 as once in a lifetime, but then they went the next year and did it again.
Once in a lifetime, part 2.
Yeah,
Well, there were new babies born since then.
that's true.
It was the first time in their lifetime.
That's very true. And that about wraps it up for this week in wrestling history.
All right.
The Figure 5.
Once again, it's time for the Figure 5, our weekly top 5 lists, wrestling related naturally. Could be anything from something goofy to something serious. What do we have for this week, Matt?
This week I decided to go a little serious. This is the top 5 most important wrestlers.
Top 5 most important wrestlers. Period. This is going to be an interesting list. What do we got?
Well, first up,
At number 5.
at number 5, we have The Rock.
The Rock at number... Okay.
The Rock is number
Yes.
5.
I feel like The Rock deserves to be on the list.
Yes,
The Rock,
yeah, he
The Rock
does.
does. I think less so for his wrestling, more for his entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's a little low on the list. He's definitely like people who don't even know wrestling nowadays. They know The Rock. He's in all the movies. He done the last 2 WrestleManias. He's a big deal.
He is.
But most of his wrestling, I mean, he left. He wrestled for a while, then left to make himself a career in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Can't blame him. That's what the guy wanted to do. That's fine. But it seems to me like he more used wrestling as a springboard
Yeah.
to something else.
I got you.
That's why he's lower on the list.
I got you.
Um,
What we have is number 4.
Number 4, we have your grandpa's favorite wrestler, Ric Flair. And when I say your, I mean probably everybody's grandpa knows Ric Flair from TBS back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the man. He won the belt, the NWA title more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And, you know, back then, if you didn't watch WWF, you watched Ric Flair, WCW, the NWA. You know, he fought Dusty Rhodes. He was a territory guy. You know, people still, you chop somebody, they yell woo.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't know why they yell woo. It's because of Ric Flair kids.
Well, you know, Flair was also that guy who was able to transition from the territories to nationwide and keep that fame in both spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're talking about was the man. In my eyes, sometimes he still is the man. Because Flair, he's held the world title more than anyone. 16 times.
Yeah.
It's more than anybody.
It's more than anybody.
And
He's had matches with Steamboat.
He's wrestled
Everybody.
pretty much all the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back.
And the thing is, like, Ric Flair's known as being, like, this flashy guy, you know, when it comes to, like, suits and jet planes and all that action that he blew money on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when he wrestles, it's him and some trunks and some boots. And yet he survived in a time of crazy, flashy, insane characters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was still Ric Flair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look at him and Sting. You got the traditional wrestler and Ric Flair, trunks and boots, against Sting, who at the time, you know, he had face paint, he had the rat tail and the tassels, and, you know.
Yeah.
Which they put on some of the greatest matches of all time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There are many wars they've had. And going back to Steamboat, I actually looked at a list the other day, and it had like 2 of their matches on their top 10 of greatest matches of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck those lists. That's not the top 5.
That's
Who
not.
gives a fuck about their list? Figure 5's where it's at.
that's right.
Who you got at number 3?
Number 3, you guys, it's Jeff Jarrett. And you might say, Jeff Jarrett, the guy who strode around in Chippendales outfit in Nitro, yeah, he did that. But you know what else he did? He founded TNA Wrestling.
That's true.
He brought competition back to wrestling when there wasn't any. And without competition, you stagnate. So you say what you will about TNA. He's kept wrestling going as an alternative to WWF or WWE. and now he's the Global Force Wrestling thing going. Jarrett didn't do a lot. It's sort of a situation that's like The Rock, where he didn't do so much in the ring, but what he's done for the business.
Yeah. I see that. I also see, like, he helped found TNA.
Yeah.
He also helped kind of make it shitty.
Well, yeah.
And then he left.
Yeah.
That's true.
Global Force Wrestling, I have high hopes for.
Yeah, because
he's starting it off.
thing.
He's doing all the work. He could make it shitty and then leave.
He could. Or he could stay out of it, and it could be a viable alternative to WWE.
That's
I mean,
like he's going to be the one overseeing it, but he's going to let someone else be the authority picture of it all. And
as long as he's not the champ from the get-go.
Yeah, because that was the problem with TNA. He was constantly their world champion.
Oh, yeah. And this isn't the best, greatest wrestlers of all time. This is important. And I think Jeff Jarrett has a very important place in wrestling history. Not so much for what he did WCW or WWE. I mean, all that stuff, people will be like, yeah, he's okay. But the fact that he is at least trying to keep wrestling diverse and competitive, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I know Global Force's plan is to bring in the Japanese pay-per-view.
Yes.
With English commentating over top of it as
Jim
their first
Ross.
show.
Jim Ross. Yep.
Has it been confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has been confirmed.
I think the fuzzy area is whether or not Jim Ross is going to Japan to do it. I think Jim Ross wants to go, but I don't think that's been completely confirmed yet.
Say they'll probably do it like TNA did their Bound for Glory pay-per-view. They taped it, and then they had Mike Today and Taz at their studio in Nashville doing the commentary.
Well, that's the most cost-effective, reasonable way to do it.
Yes.
Right.
Like, by far.
Unless Jim Ross is paying for himself to go to Japan, I feel like that's probably what they'll do.
Yeah. But it's one thing, if he's going to expose American audiences to some wrestling they've not ever seen before, and I know they're setting up some type of studio in Las Vegas, I believe it was, to do weekly, 52 weeks a year, like, programs, whether they're an hour long or 2 hours, it's whatever. But if he's bringing in talent from all over the world to wrestle, and if they're doing pay-per-views where he's going, like, go to England and get some federation, record their stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it could be completely different style of wrestling than what you see in WWE. So he could, again, be helping keep the sport alive, if by not being the best, at least by accentuating the best.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why he's a little bit higher than because like The Rock and Ric Flair are important in what they've done for themselves in the ring. Jarrett's kind of giving back.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
In a way.
Yeah.
That's why he's a little bit higher than they are.
I'll give you that number 3 because basically based on the fact that he spent so many years as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Because with that criteria, you could say Vince McMahon could be number 3 because he also wrestled.
That is true. That's true. But he did spend a lot of time as a wrestler. Is why I went ahead and threw him in there.
Okay.
Wasn't his dad a promoter also?
Jarrett,
yeah.
Yep. Who worked for WCW for a while before it folded. I don't know what that says
when Jeff Jarrett was champion a ton?
I don't know that he was working for him then. But yeah.
Slap nuts?
Yeah.
Slap nuts?
And he El Cabon people with that guitar? Yeah.
But still, it was better than the weird collar leather strip fetish cowboy suit he wore in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or the Chippendales outfit he wore in WCW when he first came in.
Basically, in WWE, I mean, he fought China,
but
it was like it's because they were wearing the same clothing. Hers was black, his was white, like they were meant to be opponents.
He was all the time beating up women.
Yeah.
After that.
Number 2, I feel like you'll agree with, though.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
I agree. I agree with, Number 2 is I feel like that's a good spot for Stone Cold.
Because he saved the company during the Attitude Era.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you think about during that time, you think about Stone Cold.
Yeah, and not only did he save it, I mean, ratings-wise from WCW, but he completely helped outdistance the WWE from WCW.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where you watch Raw because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. What's Stone Cold going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, like the WCW had the NWO, an entire group. Stone Cold was one guy.
Yeah.
And he did that service. Plus, they had, WWE, of course, had DX and everyone else, too, but Stone Cold was... The deal with him and Vince McMahon was the best storyline in the Attitude Era.
And speaking of Mr. McMahon, that whole Mr. McMahon thing, it wouldn't have been nowhere near as big if it hadn't been for Stone Cold playing off of that.
Yeah.
I mean, still to this day, fans of the Attitude Era, they hear Stone Cold's going to be on, they'll probably tune into it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like years ago, which my birthday's in April, so it's always around WrestleMania time. My dad asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I said, I want you to order me WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So he found out Stone Cold was going to be on there. Literally, he told me, I probably won't watch it with you, but as soon as Stone Cold comes out, you call for me. I'm going to come down and watch him.
Yeah. I mean, in Stone Cold, he broke his neck in that match with Owen Hart. Yeah. And then, normally he's on the shelf. He can't wrestle no more.
Yeah.
Well, Stone Cold reinvented himself again. He came out. Yeah. He couldn't wrestle, so he drove the Zamboni out. And he drove the monster truck. He filled Vince's Corvette full of concrete.
Yeah, and then eventually got back to it.
Yeah. I mean,
and went for a while till he could, and then he started being comedic Stone Cold.
Yeah, and which is hilarious.
Yeah,
it's great.
And even toward the end, Tough Enough.
Yep.
He was giving back to the sports, Stone Cold.
Yeah. Well, the thing is now, like he's got that Broken Skull Ranch show on CMT and stuff. I guarantee people are watching that Broken Skull Ranch because Stone Cold Steve Austin is on that show, hosting the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who gives a shit about another reality fucking challenge show?
Oh, yeah.
You give a shit about it because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin's show.
Right, that's right. Exactly right. Before we get to our number one guy, we got some honorable mentions, and a lot of them. You got people like, Bruno Sammartino, who's like, the company's built on that. Buddy Rogers, whose company's built on that. Mm-hmm. Even people like Chyna, who was the first ever female to hold a major title. Mm-hmm. You got, you could make arguments for Shawn Michaels, for Triple H, all these
The Undertaker.
Guys. Undertaker, yeah. But none of these guys and girl compared to our number one person.
Jim Cornette.
You blew it.
I know.
You blew it.
I picked at the list.
Son of a bitch.
I picked at the list.
Asterisk
on that though. We actually love Jim Cornette here.
We're
just making a joke.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette's awesome.
He may not agree with number one though. It's the immortal Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Because if Stone Cold saved a business in the late 90s, Hogan's the reason that there was a business around in the 90s for Stone Cold to save.
Yeah.
I mean,
plus Hulk Hogan did some saving of his own with the NWO at the time.
Yeah,
that's very true. It helps WCW.
Yep.
But yeah, Hulk Hogan is the reason that wrestling was as big as it was in the first place to be reinvented in the 90s.
Yeah, people still know who he is. They know who he is, and they watch his movies. They see his reality show, as bad as it was.
Mm-hmm.
He was
still watch it.
Yeah. Well, even during the trials that happened, he even bit the bullet then and said that it was he and the wrestlers doing it, and that the company wasn't providing it. Yeah. So Hogan, he's always been...
That's steroids we're talking about, people. Steroids.
He's always been company first. He's always been wrestling business first. Some people may disagree with that, but his actions, I feel like, prove it.
Well, even if his actions are selfish, they're selfish actions based around wrestling.
Right.
Like, his selfishness and whatever craziness goes on backstage is because he's trying to get his spot as a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's not trying to do... Yeah, I'm sure he loves doing other stuff, but I'm pretty sure he knows he's not going to be a major movie star.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm pretty sure he's aware.
Right.
I mean, now he's just a shill for the network. Yeah. But you know what? Every time he comes out, I love to see it. The crowds obviously love to see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of his stuff he done backstage to protect his spot was because maybe he's the only one who can fill that spot. Especially in WCW, you're going to put, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in that spot.
They put fucking Macho Man in that spot.
Yeah. But, I mean...
We're also pro Macho Man on this show. Very pro Macho Man.
Extremely pro Macho Man. But I feel like Hogan's very self-aware of what he is to the business.
Mm.
And sometimes you have to kind of be a dick to preserve, the business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, plus, in the 80s and also in the 90s, I mean, regardless of whether his character is this good, say you're president of your vitamins, or he's this, I'm a rebel with a spray-painted beard, there's a point of he has a character, and he's trying to protect that character and keep that character in a certain... if you have a character that's popular, you don't want him to go out there and lay down every night for somebody in the opening match.
Right.
You know, you're going to do what you can to keep that as much as you can, you know.
And there's a reason, guys, that the NWO beat the WWE for 83 weeks in a row or 85, whatever it was. It wasn't because Hall and Nash powerbombed Eric Bischoff through a table.
Although that was awesome.
That was awesome. It was because Hulk Hogan came out, dropped a leg on Macho Man Randy Savage, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and joined the NWO.
Yeah. And blew everybody's fucking minds.
That's exactly why it was.
People were just pissing uncontrollably in the crowd.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone called him a piece of garbage.
He did call him a piece of garbage. Tony Schiavone shit himself.
Yeah.
I've been told, rumor-wise, that he had a pile of shit in his pants when it happened.
Tony Schiavone literally said, towards the end of the broadcast, Hulk Hogan, you can go straight to hell.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He did.
Yep. I'm sure he went home and cried.
He cursed him to fiery damnation eternal because he turned on him.
Yep.
And from the WCW proper. So
yeah, and people threw garbage, and you never saw that. People littered the ring.
No. However, then it kind of became a thing. WCW, a lot of trash getting thrown in there afterwards.
Yeah. But I mean, Hogan started all that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like people say, "Well, let's turn Cena heel today." I'm sure it'd be big. It wouldn't be that big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
if it wouldn't be that big, it would be a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Like, actually, Hogan talked about this recently, about Cena turning heel. People still cheer him.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
it'd be exactly the same way they reacted to Hollywood Hogan. They liked him because he was a badass.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to see him fuck stuff up because they hadn't seen that from him before.
Yeah.
That sounded the same way with Cena. Although I feel like Cena sort of already had that with the thugonomic stuff. It's like, I don't know.
Which kind of Hogan did too, because Hogan started out like in AWA, and I think a little bit maybe when he was in WWF.
And in Rocky.
Rocky.
Thunderlips was a son of a bitch.
The ultimate male.
Yeah, he was kind of a bad guy.
I think he wanted to bang Adrian.
He probably did.
He probably did bang Adrian.
Ridiculous.
What's Rocky going to do? He's like this tall.
That's right.
He's tiny. I'm holding up like no space.
Rocky beat his ass.
Well, yeah, he did. He's Rocky. I mean, come on. But there won't be any impact if Cena turned because people... It's a different time. People like to cheer for the bad guy. They don't want to cheer for the good guy anymore. Hogan is that guy. He's the ultimate good guy who turned around and became the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
And that just it will never happen again. It can't ever happen again in wrestling.
Which that would probably be the one omission from the list that we left off. That, as much as I hate to say it, is important. I just feel like he's not that important yet. His importance hasn't yet. Is John Cena. There'll be a time where John Cena will be in that top 3.
Because Cena's pretty much nowadays this generation's Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
But he's still going.
Yeah.
He's going to have to get... You know, the thing is, we've talked about most of these people. Most of these people that are on this list no longer wrestle.
Right.
Actually, none of them do currently.
None of them.
There are no current wrestlers on the list.
Unless Jared
does, I think, every now and then. That's it.
Or The Rock will every once in a while come out.
Yeah. So for the most part, they've done what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's still a lot of time for Cena to do those really important things that would then cause him to be on that list.
I also feel like kind of like presidents, you can't say someone is the most important anything until they're not. Anything anymore.
He's still going.
You have to look back at it and say, you know, John Cena was like the guy who sold $1 billion worth of T-shirts and hats and sweatbands.
Shit, he's probably already done that.
Oh yeah, I know, but you know.
Hopefully he'll be the guy who will be known for everybody. Like John Cena, that was the guy who got CM Punk to come back.
That'd be so great.
Oh.
That's the guy who helped Daniel Bryan recover faster. And then go on to win the belt from Brock at WrestleMania while Roman Reigns sit and watch from the outside.
And cried.
Cried like a baby live via satellite. So yeah, it's not a bad list. I feel like it's... Okay, and for you listeners, Hoagie and I did not know what this list was. We wanted to know as you knew. So... Matt listed off. We were expecting a little more arguing to go on, but I think it's a pretty fair list.
Yes,
I feel like Ric Flair. I feel like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes are kind of in the same spot as far as you can interchange one for the other, and they both have that territory wrestler goes on to worldwide fame, lasts and lasts and lasts,
right.
you know.
And I'll tell you someone else who I feel like if we gave another 5-10 years would be on the list for sure is Triple H. Just because of what his time as a
he
wrestler.
would basically have Jarrett's. He'd be like a Jarrett.
Yeah, he'd be Jarrett's spot.
He's wrestled long enough that if he does something behind the scenes enough that it would...
Which he's kind of doing that with NXT right now.
Yeah, he is. But
He's overseeing all that.
A few more years with that to see everything he wants to... Because Vince is still kind of in charge, and he's not really in charge yet. And come
Survivor Series, he may never be in charge.
That is true. That is true. So... depending on what you hope the future of the business might be, you better be rooting for Triple H's team.
Hope you've been saving those checks, Triple H. Like Mysterio.
Mysterio was at a sports game MVP the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was.
Well,
also, that's why he's not on this list, because he's going to watch baseball and football and all that.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you quit.
Yeah.
When you quit to go watch a sport. CM Punk. So knock this out. Read off the top 5 one more time.
Oh, one more time. We got at number 5, The Rock. Number 4, Ric Flair. Number 3 is Jeff Jarrett. Number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And number 1 is the immortal Hulk Hogan.
All right, and there you have it. This week's Figure 5. And now we're wrapping things up for this week's show. Mostly, I need to go play 2K15. Like a shitload, so I can talk about it next week. However, before we go, this weekend we went to a local indie show, KZW Wrestling. They were having a charity event for a children's football team, so they go to a national championship, which is always great, raise some money, see some wrestling, good times. However, while we were there, we witnessed history. History, people. Wrestling history. The first match of its kind. Hoagie did research. Like a lot of fucking research. It was a football on a pole match.
That is correct, folks. Football on a pole. I looked this up. There has never been an occurrence of this. There's been weapons. There's been contracts.
There's even Judy
belts,
Bagwell.
Judy Bagwell, pinatas. You name it. There's never been a football on a pole match.
That's probably because it's not a very good weapon. Doesn't make a lot of sense. However, once you hear the rules of this,
it's genius.
Almost. It makes more sense than no sense.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Okay, so a line is taped off roughly, say, 40 foot outside the ring. 2 refs on each side so they can judge. The goal is for one of the wrestlers to pull the football from the pole, hence the name football on a pole match, get it outside the ring with their feet across the line to score a goal. That's how you claim your winner. This was between Super Assassin and the Dancing Cowboy, Terry Allen.
The match itself, I mean, as far as it being something on a pole match, you're going to have, the guy ran at the pole first thing, was stopped. Back and forth match. It actually, to see it though, the kids were really super into it. They started taking their shirt, because, of course, someone said that the Dancing Cowboy said that he was supporting another team. And you can't just do that. I mean, that's... automatic. He's as evil as Hitler now.
Yeah.
So the kids are taking off their jerseys and slinging them around and running around the arena. It was actually pretty awesome to see all the kids do that.
Yeah. It's one of those instances where wrestling can be entertaining and not be the serious. Like we like the serious, violent drama awesomeness.
You could have brought kids to this,
but sometimes sometimes you can have a football and a pole match.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just have the fun, comedic. The guys were fumbling around for the ball on the floor and crawling and trying to. It was great, and first of its kind.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to see it in Raw? Who knows? Maybe one day, but we saw it.
Yeah.
You know?
It exists.
It exists. It's part of wrestling history. And it's one of those things that reminds you, don't take it so seriously. And it's there for your enjoyment. Everybody just needs to have a good time, when you watch wrestling.
Yeah. Pro wrestling can be fun for anybody, no matter whether you like hardcore, whether you like 80s style, no matter what you like. There's something for everybody. Yeah. And generally in the indie world is where you're going to find it. So maybe get off your couch, even though we're talking about WWE a lot, maybe quit watching it so much. On a weekend, hit up your local armory or your local gymnasium. Find a show to go to.
Yeah, guys, if you don't, they'll eventually stop doing those kind of shows. And nobody will see a football on a pole match or whatever kind of innovative match they come up with next. It won't exist unless you support them.
And then we'll end up in some type of goddamn Mad Max future where we're all hunting each other for fucking gasoline. Because that's how that shit's going to go.
Yeah.
So, go watch indie wrestling or the world as you know it might end. So there you have it. I think it's another show in the can with that prophetic development. Thanks for listening to Developmental Talent. This is Lemon Juice McGee with Hoagie Masters and Matt Pierce. And most of us, most likely, will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Developmental Talent, but the show doesn't stop here. For more insane ramblings, be sure to check us out on social media. The links are conveniently listed in the text. Also, feel free to send your hatred, praise, and suggestions to developmental